Hello, everybody. My name is Brad Van Amberg. I'm a broker owner of Van Amberg Realty here in Wilmington, North Carolina. Today, we are going to take a look at a loan product that many of you are probably not very familiar with. It's called a USDA loan. And it's a product that comes out of the United States Department of Agriculture. Kind of a strange place to find a loan product. It's designed to go into rural areas and to help moderate to lower income families. So let's get started. For those of you wondering, why would I be looking at a USDA loan? Well, if the home you're looking at is in a USDA area, and that's critical, and that can be approved by the USDA website, it's a 100% loan. No money down. You need a 640 score. And you can actually, if you structure your offer to purchase the right way, you can have the seller pay what's called seller concessions up to 6%, which would pretty much cover all of your closing costs. So that sounds like a pretty nice deal. You will be paying private mortgage insurance. Everybody with loans over 80% pay that. But it's a very reasonable rate. Your interest rates are going to be similar to an FHA loan. And there's two types of underwriting. There's a guaranteed loan and there's a direct loan. Guaranteed, you huddle up with a loan officer and you get him to pre-qualify you using the USDA rules. And that's very important. You do that before you make your offer. And you need a 640 credit score. For borrowers under 640, considered weaker borrowers, your debt-to-income ratio drops a little bit, and you do your loan directly through the USDA. Okay, here we look at income and employment. They want 2 years of stable employment. Social Security, they gross up by 25%. And funds available for conforming loan is a disqualifier. So if you have too much money in the bank, they might suggest that instead of a USDA loan, you go conforming or an FHA. Okay, now let's take a look at the USDA debt-to-income ratio. It's 32% on the front end, 44% on the back end. What is a debt-to-income ratio? It's basically the percentage of your expenses compared to your income. So if your income is, say, $10,000 for the month and you have 32% on the front end, that's $3,200 a month would be your front end total. Back end is 44%, so that's $4,400 a month. In New Hanover County, your maximum income amount, because these are low income, moderate income loans, is $114,050. 1 month is $9,504. And we're just looking at the front end. That's $3,041. If I deduct $400 for taxes and insurance, that gives me a principal and interest amount of $2,641. And if I go to my mortgage table at 6.75%, which is about where we are in April of 2025, we're at $407,300. That's our loan amount. If you're doing a direct loan, these are people under a 640 credit score. Your front end is 29%, your back end is 41%, and you're doing your loan directly with USDA and not with a loan officer. As a final thought, my bottom line, if it's community property state, which North Carolina is, if your spouse has other debts. Even though they are not on the loan, those spousal debts are included in your debt to ratio income. Okay, now, because this loan is for lower income and moderate income, we have income limits. And the income limit in New Hanover County is $114,050 a year. And in Pender and Brunswick counties, Pender is to the north of Wilmington, and Brunswick is to the west on the other side of the Cape Fear River. That's $112,450. I don't know where the USDA got these numbers from, because according to the U.S. Census a few years ago, New Hanover County's average family income is $76,000. It's not 114. Maybe they did a mean income of all the rich people living in Carolina Beach, Wrightsville Beach, Curie Beach, who many of them are close to millionaires, and just did a math average instead of a median average, which is what you really should have done. But it is what it is. So it's $9,500 a month for New Hanover County, $93.70 a month for Pender. Guaranteed loans are two types of loans. A guaranteed loan, which is done by a lender with a 640 and above credit score. Now, from what I've been reading, that number can be fudged a little bit. They might go to a 630, a 620, if you have what they call compensating factors. I did mortgages for almost 10 years. I ran the mortgage branch up in Raleigh for 10 years for Carteret Mortgage, which was prior to 2008, the largest mortgage company in the country. We had 1,800 loan officers, and we shut our doors in 2006, I believe it was, in August. And I remember the owner called me and said, "Bradley, we're out of business," and he had to close the doors. We had a big infrastructure of attorneys and auditors and this and that to keep from having loans that states would fine us over, so we didn't get fined anymore. But that was a tragic period, and many people, including me, never recovered from 2008. Let's see. So, almost forgot. All of the incomes in the dwellings in the home are included in the maximum limit. So it's not just you and your wife. It's you, your wife, and your mother-in-law. And if she's getting Social Security money, even though she's not on the loan, she is part of that household, and her income counts. Okay, now let's talk about credit a little bit. If you've had a bankruptcy, if you've had a Chapter 7, 36 months, you can apply for a loan with USDA. A Chapter 13 is 12 months. If you're kind of a new home buyer and you have an established credit, then we use alternative credits. You go 12 months of verified rental, and you can use utility payments, leases, internet, insurance, other things like that. And that's all considered alternative. I pulled this map up out of the USDA website, and the map to the left, you're looking at the yellow area that is not eligible USDA, but the areas in gray are USDA, and you'll notice at the very bottom left is a small section of New Hanover County, which is Wilmington, that is available. And if you go further left across the Cape Fear River, that's Brunswick County, that's Leland, and a few other areas. They're available. And then the map to the right is a small portion of New Hanover County at the top, and then you'll see still in gray Pender County, which is Hampstead, and nearly all of Pender County is in USDA. This slide is just to really show you the zip codes that are available with USDA properties in it. Okay, your closing costs are going to be very similar to any other kind of loan you would do. You'll have attorney's fees, you'll have lender fees, and USDA has a 1% fee, and then they have a monthly 0.35% PMI fee. Okay, that concludes our look at USDA loans. I think the next step for you guys is go over to my website, var-wilmington.com, and get accustomed to my property search. I think you'll find it far superior to Zillow or Realtor.com. You can save your searches. You can ask the system to contact you if a new listing pops up. Next thing is, because USDA is not used by a lot of loan officers, a lot of them are not familiar with them or comfortable with them. So you'll need to find somebody that's done them. And I'm preparing a list of lenders around the country who are licensed in North Carolina who could do USDA for us. So contact me and I'll pass a few names on to you. And then finally, make sure you get pre-qualified. That's very important. And at the bottom of the screen is the USDA website, and it will show you how to put in an address of a home that you might be interested in to see if the property qualifies. And that's it for now. Take a look at my website front page for all my other videos as well. And I'm going to be putting another one together on how to do a property search. Thank you and have a good day.